Welcome back to Great Lakes Junction, everyone. Not getting a lot of videos up these days. Outdoors, there just seems to be so much noise all the time. It's not worth trying to make a video. You'd never hear anything. But it seems to be quieter today, and we have another issue to go back and solve on the 2014 Ford Fusion. So back in September 21, I changed what they call the mode door actuator. It controls which vents your air is coming out of, whether it's the defroster vents, the air vents here, or your floor vents. And that was located up under the steering wheel. There's a video on that. I said September 21. But today we're looking at the blend door actuator. So this will be the one that mixes the hot and cold air together, giving you your cooler air conditioning temperatures. So the outside ambient air temperature right now is around 87 Fahrenheit, which I believe is around 32 Celsius. And these air vents, the air conditioner has been on for 5 minutes straight now. So Fahrenheit, we're at 68, 66 maybe. Celsius, 17. That side, almost 25. Fahrenheit, 77. And these should be blowing 30 to 40 degrees cooler than the outside ambient air temperature. Now the manual that I have for this, where it tells you that, doesn't say if that's Celsius or Fahrenheit. A lot of these manuals are printed in the US, so I'm assuming it's likely going to be in Fahrenheit that they're talking about. And speaking of the manual, once again, I refer back to this Haynes repair manual, and you can see it does 2006 to 2014. This is a 2014. You can buy one of these if you want. Sometimes they give you some helpful tips that kind of lead you down the right path to figuring something out, but this one's been pretty useless for me to actually tell me how to do a repair. When I did the first actuator motor, there's no mention of it in here. There's no mention of this actuator motor either, and in this case, nothing that we need to do to get to do this repair is in this book. So our first step that we're going to need to do on the 2014 is a different body design than that book shows inside. This needs to come off, and it's just got clips underneath here. That comes out that easy. And it's those white tabs sticking up, that's the clips. They're just push-in clips. We need these two bolts for the glove box. You have to go under the glove box. There's another one in this corner, and there should be one out in this corner. 7mm head on those, and that'll let us take this whole glove box assembly out. There should be a wire down in this bottom corner behind it that we'll have to unplug that wire. I think it's for a night light or something inside of there. So we'll start getting into this, and we'll see just exactly where this actuator motor is located this time that we need to fix. Plastic piece on the end of the dash here, clips again that just pop in. You pop that off, and when you do, you'll see that there's some large white clips on the glove box. Okay, we'll bring the camera inside here for a moment so I can see one. Now there is two on this side. I'll show you the one we can see already. That one right there that I'm touching with my finger, that is the actuator motor. There's a second one on this side of the vehicle. And if we come across the front of the blower motor housing, the second one, and we'll get a flashlight up in there. That electrical plug you can see there is plugged into the second motor. So one of these is for my blend door issue I'm having. The other one changes between inside cabin air being recirculated as opposed to bringing fresh air in from outside. I'm not 100% sure at this point which is which. I believe the one there is bringing fresh air in or reusing air in the car. I think that one is probably the one I need to change, but I need to do a little bit more work here to figure out, if I can, which one it is for sure. I'll start the car back up and move the controls for both functions and see if I can hear or see anything moving from either of these motors. It's going to be really hard to see, but if you look closely back in that hole, see that white piece that's in there? You can see it, I think, moving when I turn on and off the function to change between recirculating the air inside or drawing fresh air in from outside. See that move? Go back. Oh, and there's another piece that was down in here you could see moving also. So that confirms that motor is for that function. So the motor that's on that side there is the one I definitely need to change this time. Not sure how much of this I'm going to be able to use the camera so you can physically see what I'm doing. It's such a tight area to try and place a camera and then still be able to move around and work. But I have noticed there's another panel, very easy to come off, and it's underneath. This panel underneath here, there's two push pins, plastic push pins in the corners. One in that corner. One in that corner. And it just pulls straight out. By the looks of the stuff falling out, probably a good idea to take it off and clean things anyhow. Now that will give me some room to be able to get my hand up in through the bottom. So there's that motor again. Now I'll show you the electrical plug. You can see that red tab. So that red tab pulls straight back, not very far. And now what you can't see, there's a small black tab inside there that needs to be pushed towards the driver's side of the car to actually unplug that. You see what I mean? There's not enough room for you to physically see. So there's the red clip, and there's a little black tab right there. There's two screws that hold that motor in place. I'm gonna remove this. I'm not gonna be able to have the camera in here doing this, unfortunately. There's just not enough room. So you'll have to have maybe a stubby screwdriver or a bent screwdriver or something to get up in there and get at those screws. So I'll take it out and then I will show you something you may need to know putting the new one back in. So we got that last screw out that was in this upper corner. All I can say is patience. It will take you some time. I had to go buy this kind of a screwdriver. Everything else I had short stubby screwdrivers. I've got one that has like a flex shaft on it so you can bend. None of that would get into that tight location. This is the only one that would allow me to get to it. And it takes some time to reach up in there with that and do a little small turn. So we got it out. Now, this piece came out attached to the back, which I didn't expect. I can see myself with a flashlight in there. There's another white piece on the side of the box with a part that has a groove for this pin to sit in. So as this rotates, it moves that other piece to open and close the vents. And it just slides off. Now there are some arrows and degree of markings on the back of the motor itself. the arrow that says 210.2, I can just see the tip of the arrow there. And 260 degrees seems to be pretty much in the center of this. Now the new motor, don't know if it's oriented in the same position already or not. I think I got lucky. I think that new motor's already oriented in the proper position. And that does not want to turn. I don't want to force it. I don't want to break any gears inside. When I changed the one for the mode door actuator, the gentleman at the dealership, when I bought the motor, actually told me, don't turn that shaft. I'll show you on the old one. Don't turn that shaft on the motor by hand, or it will strip the gears inside. So when you put it in on that other one, you can actually start that gear into its position, and then you rotate the motor to where it needs to be for your screw holes to line up. And what that's doing, it's rotating the vents as you're doing that until you get this in the right position, then you finish pushing it in. So this one's a little different. I don't know, because my vents weren't working properly on that old motor, I can't say that they were in a hot position or cold position so that you would know, what that position is on the motor per se, because it wasn't functioning. Maybe that's a standard resting place for it when you shut the vehicle off, and that's why the new one matches. I don't know. So I need to move the camera out of my way, get this line back up in there. Might take me a moment to do that. Well, we have the new motor back in, and I'm sad to say it did not fix my problem. And it is working. I'll show you, you can see everything moving there. So that is all the way hot. And then as you bring it down notch by notch, and that's all the way cold. But the temperature I'm getting out of the vents has not changed. I still have, I can feel like some coolish air coming out of that side, warm air coming out of that side. I'm a little bit at a loss at the moment, because that's the only motor there is that controls the doors. So hopefully it's not an issue with inside the heater box itself, that a door is stuck inside. I don't know if that's a possibility. I don't think it's an issue of having low freon in the system, because it should still be cold equally. Like it might not be as cold as you would expect it to be if it's low on freon, but you'd have equal temperature though. You wouldn't have two different temperatures. So this is throwing me now. I'm gonna have to see if I can figure out what it really is. As for changing the part, I'm not concerned, as it was only a $50 item, and now I know the old one possibly was still good. I'll put it back in the box, label it that it might still be good, and I'll just keep it.